so long. Thanks a lot. Listen. They call it, zip it, they call it higher education, all right? But some say all that's happening on college campuses is that students are getting high and professors are filling their heads with useless garbage. Now, we went out and asked college students if college is a waste of time. Can I see that, huh?
I think it's really more of a party situation, and right now, colleges are just taking advantage of that because prices are going higher and higher, and it's not paying off. It's just not paying off when you graduate.
I think mainly they prepare you for college. They prepare you to educate yourself, but I don't think they really prepare you for the working environment. It's a totally different world.
What my parents want me to do, but I didn't do it for them. I'm doing it for me, and I really think that if you want to get a good job, you would need a four-year college education.
I don't really see the value in a degree, considering that after one semester of work, you just forget it and it's not used again. And what they teach in college just doesn't seem to be relevant to the future, really.
I'm a business major, and they're making me take classes like anatomy, and we're dissecting a cat in anatomy, you know, and I don't see where that's going to come in handy with me, you know, when I'm in business.
Well, tonight we debate whether colleges and universities are preparing our young people for the challenges of the future, or whether professors are cluttering their minds with some anti-American perspective which will bring this country to its knees. Now that we've all graduated, we'll start teaching the professors a lesson that they ain't gonna forget. Next. Let me introduce our first guests, the folks at home base with us. We have Al Parinello, radio talk show host. Your Own Success is the name of that program. His partner is Jay Campbell, who's on that program also. And we have an old nemesis of ours, Dr. Phil English, professor at the University of Wisconsin in River Falls, Wisconsin. So let me start with Al first, if you don't mind. During your nationally syndicated business show, you make some very damaging accusations about colleges and universities and professors who pretend to teach there. Why do you say that in many cases colleges is just a waste of time and money?
Well, you know, I don't really make those accusations. Our listeners make the accusations. We just listen to them and try to counsel them.
Well, you guys are real hosts. You don't take a position on anything.
Well, sometimes we do because we can't help it, and this is one of those times.
Okay, let me hear what you think.
Well, the bottom line is, having been a college student, having been a graduate student, having been a college adjunct professor, and seeing what's going on in the classroom, and then having been in a position to hire college graduates, and then having been in a position to take phone calls from people who are frustrated all over the country, you kind of start seeing things take place. There are incredible problems in the college institutions. There are incredible problems with students.
Why are they there? Why are the problems there? Are they there because the government has become so much of a partner of universities? Are they there because professors are tenured and no longer have to bust their buns? Are they there because the quality of the student is lower? Give me a reason.
High school is over.
High school's ended.
High school's over. The next step, college. 55% in this country of graduates of high school go to college.
What percentage of those kids that go to college actually have learned to speak, read, write?
I'd like to...
details like that.
I certainly don't have the statistics, but I do have resumes on my desk with typographical errors and embarrassments.
You don't want to use facts in here at all, is that right? You just want to give
I'm
your
trying
own
to get
impressions.
some facts, Phil. I agree. I want some facts here.
Hi.
18%. I'm sorry. This is Professor Phil English. Professor Phil English. My question was simply, how many students do you think get out of high school today who go to college, if 55% go to college, actually have a deficiency in their reading prowess and their writing prowess?
When they finish, or do you mean more?
When they finish high school.
When they finish high school.
At least half.
At least half.
Yeah.
At least half of those kids who are going to college.
Yeah. And
So
I'd
we are
love to
then
give you some
leaving.
statistics.
Wait a second. What you're saying is we're then leaving the educating of kids that should have been done in high school to professors who have to waste their time going through the rudimentary functions of an education before they can teach them what this man has spent his life learning.
Well, you see, that's the problem. He spent his life learning.
Yeah, right.
Where did he spend his life learning? He spent his life learning in school.
Right.
And then he goes back into school and starts teaching it all.
Okay.
All
right.
What it boils down to.
In other words, you're telling me that every professor...
How much longer are you just going to toss out these empty phrases and reveal just what an empty intellect you have? Why don't you try and present something that has a factual basis?
I'm ready. I'm ready. What would you like to know first?
What I'd like to know is where you are getting your statistics that half of the high school graduates can't read or write. I mean, what is your source
Well,
for
the
that
actual
particular?
question was a
Let's get that
deficiency.
straight, sir.
Deficiency. Where is your? Give me a factual basis for that.
The factual basis, quite
You're not
frankly.
talking to.
Are you
you're
going
not
to listen,
talking to
sir?
your radio
Are you going to
listeners
listen,
here.
or are you going
Just
to keep
give me a
asking?
fact.
Let me hear,
All right.
Professor.
The basis is based on, very simply, the fact that I receive resumes from kids who are graduating from
What
college.
sample of resumes do you receive? What proportion? What is the statistical breakdown? Go ahead and give me your experimental study.
What's
please.
happening here, folks, is the professor is being a professor because he can't bank on reality.
what's happening
He's got to
here-
base
what's
his
happening-
opinions on statistics.
No,
Well, let me
Do you
ask
have a
you,
statistic
Phil.
you'd like
No,
to
wait a
throw
second.
out?
What's happening
Wait a second.
here?
Let me ask the
What's
professor.
happening here
Go ahead.
is the moron is being the moron.
This guy has been in the classroom and dedicated as a teacher for a lot of years. We don't agree on a lot of things, but this I agree on. He's a dedicated educator. Now, you would have a better handle on what percentage of your students coming out of high school have a deficiency. What would you say?
The percentage is of such a nature that it varies actually from institution to institution.
And maybe from year to
Presumably,
year.
if you recall a previous show that we did on Proposition 42 and Proposition 48, where we talked about test standards and that sort of thing, that kind of instrument is being used to weed out exactly what he's talking about and being able to allow us to provide the kind of rudimentary programs, the kind of interventionist programs to help students upgrade themselves, something that I'm sure that he would like to see eliminated. The numbers are difficult to reach because it varies so much from institution to institution. That's why I resent him tossing out something based upon a few resumes he received
Professor,
at some radio station.
We do know in this country, I don't know what the breakdown is of them being college students, probably very minor, but we do know we have an illiteracy rate in this country of 23 million people.
That's right.
Now, this in itself is horrific.
That's right.
However,
You've done a show on that, I think, haven't you?
Yes, we have. But the point that I would like to ask you is, what do you teach in college?
I teach speech courses, rhetoric courses,
All right.
writing courses.
Were you involved in a business way, in any business way
I teach a
at all?
course called Business Communication.
Right. Have you been outside of the professorial
Sure.
community, outside
Yes,
of the
I have.
educational community? Have you had to deal with the everyday realities of signing a payroll,
Sure.
of cashing a paycheck?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you would have to admit you are not the average professor.
Mort, no. Matter of fact, most of my colleagues, most of the people who are involved in college, unlike what they're trying to say, it is not something that is removed from the real world. I've got at least 2, probably 4 members of my department who are active consultants to major corporations. Why is it government, why is it corporations always reach into the college ranks to look for consultants?
We've all been consultants, all right? I know the real definition of as a consultant is a guy who can't find a real job. I've been one a few times, all right? Yeah.
He's got 4 people in his department who are consultants.
At least
you know
4.
why? Because college professors have so many hours available to them that they can take on all of these extra jobs. If you worked for a living, you wouldn't have them. You wouldn't have the time. And neither would your 4 consultant friends.
Do you know what the statistics? Do you know what the facts? Once again,
your partner doesn't seem to be helping you much here.
Well, that's a problem we always have.
If I may, I would like to correct error number 2 based upon your own empty-minded impressions. Statistical studies have been done that show that the average professor works 55 to 60 hours a week. Now, those are
really?
studies that have been done over and over again. They have been replicated. They're sound scientific evidence. I know those are facts, and you don't like facts,
You don't
do
happen
you?
to have
You
that
don't want
statistical
facts,
survey
do you?
here, would you?
Pardon me?
You wouldn't happen to have that statistical survey
Well,
here,
let me
and I'll
ask-
tell you why
wait a
I'm
second,
asking.
Let me ask Phil a question, all right? Because you're asking
Well,
nothing that's
bring
getting us
my
any
suitcase
further
bulging for
information.
Well, then keep your mouth
Phil,
shut.
To prove something.
All right?
To prove something to...
Thank you.
Phil, let's talk for a minute about tenure.
Right.
Explain first what tenure is.
Well, tenure means continuing appointment, okay?
In other words, if you have been for a number of years at a university, proven your worth,
Right.
and have been so-called almost graded by your peers,
Right.
they could say to you, we like the job you're doing. Your job is safe here for 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, 10 years, life.
Right.
Indeed, are a lot of professors life tenured?
Sure.
Why?
The reason...
This I can't wait to hear.
Well, I can't.
Let's find out why you
I
have a
can't
guaranteed job and can't be fired. Well, let's hear it.
See, are you ready now?
Yeah.
Why
Let's
don't you
hear it.
take notes, and that way you won't forget, all right?
I don't...
Tenure exists primarily as the foundation of academic freedom. Without academic freedom, education would be something that would be frivolous. It wouldn't matter. It is the only way...
Nonsense.
Please, let me conduct
What does it
this.
mean?
Let me conduct this. You're going to learn in a minute,
Okay,
all
let's
right?
hear it.
In other words, I think what we're saying here is without tenure in some instances, certain ideas could be impeded because of intimidation, of loss of job,
What would happen
etc.
is what happened during the McCarthy era, when there were unprincipled attacks upon the institutions of higher education, unprincipled attacks against college professors, purges were made, education was the victim. It is the only way, probably, that education can guard itself against the right-wing lunatic fringe that you embody most of the time.
Would you agree with me then that at times it is people such as pablum puking scum as yourself who make the decisions as to who sit on a board, as to who will become tenured in a school, and you make sure that the so-called radical right-wing bums like me never get tenured, so it's only your philosophies
That's wrong.
that get into the brains of
Typically-
people, so you
That's
brainwash
typically
because all you
mistaken.
do
That's
is
typically
brainwash.
mistaken,
That's all
Downey.
you
Don't
do,
you
pal.
try and pass that off. Don't you
You
try
know
and
it.
pass that
Let's
off.
come back and see what these people have to say in just a minute. Come on.
Once again, it's time to send a message to the Capitol. Let them read your lips.
That's right, Mr. Congressman. Read my lips. We want no gun control laws. The Constitution guarantees every American the right to bear arms, and in these high crime times when every decent family is threatened by stick-ups and break-ins, rape and muggings, nobody's going to take away my right to protect my loved ones, my home, and my property. Who are these people who want to scrap the Constitution? Vote for America. Vote no to gun control laws.
We say guns should be outlawed. This isn't the 1880s, and we don't live in the Wild West. Only the police need guns, not ordinary citizens. Guns kill too many people, and innocent animals too. They should be outlawed. So vote for a kinder, gentler society. Vote yes for gun control laws.
Do you want gun control? Call 1-900-490-6363 to vote no, or call 1-900-490-6364 to vote yes. Vote now. Just $2 per call. When polling is completed, the results will be tallied and promptly delivered to Congress. Make your vote count. Call now.
Could you tell which 1-carat diamond costs $5,000 and which $1,000? Thousands of customers of the Charles Kent Reaver Company can tell the quality of each diamond. For 23 years, the Reaver Company has completely educated every customer. At Michigan's only diamond cutting factory, you also buy direct without middlemen, at 1/3 less cost than diamonds on sales in stores. For your appointment or the Reaver Company's free brochure of diamond facts, call 342-6663 or just dial Diamond, D-I-A-M-O-N-D.
Let me introduce at home base a third guest of ours in that area. He's city councilor at large from Boston, Massachusetts, our good friend Dapper O'Neill. Dap, how you doing, pal? Dapper, let me ask you. I know how much you value a college education, but I understand you feel many students ruin their chance for a good education by the way they conduct themselves in the classroom. Would you tell us about it quickly?
Well, first I'd like to say, if they remember, a lot of you youngsters don't remember a fellow by the name of Nikita Khrushchev that said to the former president, President Nixon, that we will destroy you within and not fire a shot. Back in Boston, last year we had 500 seniors that could not graduate. They couldn't read or write. 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, 1,300 didn't get promoted. They couldn't read or write. I'm chairman of public safety, and I appropriate all the money for the police department. I don't know how these 22 in the last 86 that got sworn in as recruits, after 3 days in the class, Mort, they discovered they couldn't read or write. Now, how did they graduate from high school?
But doesn't that prove the fact that education is working? The fact that these students were not able to graduate, isn't that evidence
But they
of the
were
fact
able
that...
to graduate from high school, Phil.
Well, I'm not. Are we here to talk about high school, or are we here to talk
Well,
about college?
what's
If you want to
happening,
talk about high school,
I think what's happening,
Let's
Phil,
talk about college.
Phil, I think
You've
what's
got
happening
students in here.
I think
The
what's
problem
happening
is
is
you
we're
don't
sending
understand how
bad hot
important high school
dogs
is.
to the wrong buns. You know, when we send them to college, it's unfair to the rest of the students in college to send that quality of a student to college.
There are some who slip through the cracks. There's no doubt about that.
22 out of 86. That's one hell of a crack.
But but he's not talking about a college class there, Mort. He's talking about a police recruit class, weren't you, Dapper?
I'd like to ask you a question. I don't know you, and right off the bat you said you're going to own me. I'd buy and sell you, okay?
That's
hear me out.
No, that's very. No, that's
No, there's no
I will
excuses,
concede.
all right?
I will concede.
I don't know you.
I will concede the possibility that you could buy and sell me, because I'm not a hack politician who made my fortune in back rooms like you did.
And I would... I'll tell you something. If I had to have an education and you teaching me, I wouldn't let you go in a closet to teach me anything. I just don't like your attitude, and if this is the attitude you have with students, no wonder they're all screwed up, okay?
I would like to have you in my classroom, because I'd enjoy flunking you for being deficient in most things, except the art of deal. And we understand each other, don't we?
If I were in your class, I'd teach you as a student, okay? You know.
I'd like to have you come into my classroom and try and tell me what to teach. There'd be a television first the day that happened.
Whatever you were trying to teach me, I'd throw up in the class, okay? All right? Yeah.
I'll try and teach you something about basic decency and basic manners, which seems to have lost.
Basic manners seem to have been made when you made the mistake of attacking a man who hadn't said anything, Phil.
Excuse me, didn't he attack me?
No!
Not initially.
Students.
No,
They want to talk about students.
Just a minute.
Let's talk about
You stood there and
There's
said to
an
me up
intellect
there.
Here. Let's deal with the intellect. Can you deal with the
Don't
intellect?
double-talk me.
Can you deal with the
Don't
intellect?
you double-talk me.
Deal with the intellect.
You stood there, I sat there, and you said, I'm going to own you. And I looked, and I said, I said to him, I don't even know him.
And you automatically put that in monetary terms. Let's talk about students.
That's your life. That's your life.
Let's talk about students.
Let's talk about the students. Let me go. Let me have that microphone. Stand right at that microphone, Dapper, because you don't have to worry about a thing. I know your credentials. I know you've been a good representative, and I know you've been elected and re-elected and re-elected in Boston, Massachusetts, where they got some real pukers. I don't know how you got in. You're all right. Huh? Let me go to this young lady. And I have a question here. Do you feel that college students have too much freedom and could use some discipline to cut down on the boozing and fornication in college? I had to check that word. The kinder, gentler Mort wouldn't use that.
I think they need their independence. They need their freedom.
How much of it, Jackie?
All of it.
What is all of it?
You grow
You
up.
go to school
You grow
to
up a
learn,
lot
but you
quicker.
go to school also to learn the responsibilities that society has set out, the basic responsibilities.
You learn responsibility real quick.
Let me say something.
All right, let me hear this, young
Just
lady.
say something.
Same question.
Okay? One sec, Cropper. Go ahead, Laura.
Same question.
I think that they need their independence. I think it's great. I don't think that they have too much. I think that you gain more responsibility by the more independence that you have.
All right, now let me ask you a question, because I don't find any fault with that, all right? I want everyone to have independence and to use free thought, and that's what I always scream about on this show. But by the same token, let's take the booze. You're 18 or you're 21, you're drinking, all right? And I happen to think 18 should be the right age. All right, so you're drinking. You're drinking. Where does your freedom end and your responsibility begin, or are they contiguous? Do they run in a parallel line with each other?
I think that's up to the individual. I think that everyone has to.
But if it is up to the individual, does the individual have to suffer the consequences of their mistake if they make one?
Sure, you learn from your mistake.
Okay, and if your mistake injures someone else, should there be discipline to prevent that mistake being made by someone else? Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Let me go back to you, Dapper. What grade?
I'd like to jump in.
Let me go back to you. What grade would you give to the ultra left, all right? I find no fault with the left. No fault with the middle, no fault with the right. The ultra right or ultra left I find fault with. What grade would you give to the ultra left professors who decide that the only thing that they can teach is to teach kids how to become radicals?
Oh, come on.
And we know that happened.
Come on.
You gonna tell me Father Dan
What are you getting excited
Barragan
about?
wasn't a radical when he was teaching in
gets all
school,
excited,
teaching
this guy.
kids about bombs, blowing up the Senate? You don't think that's radical?
What would you do? Go into his classroom and you decide what's radical and what isn't?
The minute
That's
a
the biggest
professor-
threat to education.
Then I'll threaten it, pal.
That's the biggest
The
threat.
minute a Father Barragan or someone like that walks into a classroom and tells the classroom, you have every right to disrupt the United States Senate, including using a bomb if you need to, that son of a bitch would die. That's what I do.
Nothing.
How about sex on campus?
First, you're going to clap, and then you're going to boo, okay? In Boston, when all those colleges come in before the Zoning Board of Appeal to build huge buildings, they don't pay taxes. Then after they build a huge building, they turn around and raise the tuition on these kids, and I fight them every week when they go in there. But what I don't like, your parents are working hard. I don't like this 24-hour visitation in the dormitories with the kegs of beer and up all night boozing. And guys, wait a minute. Just a minute. Look,
okay.
Wait a minute.
I kind of like that.
Wait a minute.
If you don't... If
I think that teaches
Why don't you do
responsibility.
something about it?
Why don't you
They're there
teach
for an
responsibility?
education.
Why
not to be
don't
up
you
all
do
night long.
something about the politicians like John Tower who stay up all night drinking and chasing secretaries? Why don't you do something about that? You condemn them too. Condemn them.
Why don't you
Condemn
do
them,
something?
you hypocrite.
Wait a second. He's talking about John Powers.
Wilbur Mills,
He's talking about John
Tower.
Powers. Everyone he's talking about chase women. Why don't you talk about your friends who chase the boys?
What exactly? All right. Here we go with some of Morton Downey's much vaunted demagoguery. What are you referring
Oh, really?
to?
Yours wasn't demagoguery.
What are you?
Huh?
I'm responding to a charge. What?
Fine.
What are you referring
I'm
to?
talking about. I'm talking
homosexual-
about
what are you
two
talking about?
congressmen in Massachusetts who, when one congressman in Illinois got accused of going to bed with a woman page, he was unelected. But when the Massachusetts congressman got accused of going to bed with the male page, he got reelected. You got problems in Massachusetts.
You bet I have. You bet I have.
Next, we'll meet a professor of physics and astronomy who tells his own students that college can be a waste of time. Come on.
I'm Jim Martindale, and I'd like to tell you about the garden weasel. This 5-in-1 tool makes gardening fun and easy. The 3 rotary blades mesh with the topsoil, uprooting young weeds and creating a beneficial mulch. The weasel cultivates to a uniform 2-inch depth. Remove the center blade for working around plants and vegetables. Use 1 blade for hard-to-reach areas. Made of a rust-free alloy, the weasel is virtually self-cleaning. The garden weasel. Look for this display.
At True Value, Ace, Service Star, HWI, Coast to Coast, Hardware Hank, and Our Own Hardware.
Dolph Lundgren. His looks aren't the only thing that can kill. First, he was their ultimate weapon. It's him! Now, he's their worst nightmare. They think they control him. Think again. Dolph Lundgren. Red Scorpion. Let's kick some. Rated R. Starts Friday, April 21st at theaters everywhere.
It's neat, it's great, it's a whale of a sale. It's super, it's super, it's super sale.
RJ Leeds has a super sale going on now. For only $8.98, you get everything you see. Sofa, love seat, and 3 tables. It's super savings on this roomy sofa, a comfy love seat, and not 2, but 3 tables. Only $8.98 for this entire super room grouping. It's a super sale at RJ Leeds, where you couldn't do better if you were family.
It's neat, it's great, it's a whale of a sale. It's super, it's super, it's super sale. Gear up and ride with P&P Ride. We'll put the power beneath your seat.
It's time to gear up and ride the P&P Cycle, home of the 96-cent spark plug every day. Michigan's largest in apparel, parts, and accessories. You'll ride with confidence when it's backed by the P&P guarantee. Plus, you can win an all-expense-paid trip every month with P&P's Getaway Giveaway. Enter today at any of the 4 P&P locations.
Basically what we're talking about in this show is college a waste of money. We've kind of gotten off the beaten path here. Do we teach students, when they get out of college, do they know how to prepare a resume to get a job? Do they know the questions that are going to be asked in a job interview? Are there special classes for that? You'll talk to Professor English, he'll say yes, and he's right, there are. Are they being taught by people who really know what they're saying? Yes, in many cases, I think so. We've got an additional guest at home base with us tonight. Terry Matilsky, Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Rutgers University. So, Professor, here you are. I'm sorry. But, I'm not doing too well. As a college, incidentally, Dapper, where's Dapper?
That is.
Dapper, that wasn't, Khrushchev didn't say that to Nixon.
That's right.
He said it to Nixon when he was vice president.
All right.
That was when he was vice president.
Be a little
Now, let me start with Terry. As a college prof, Terry, I'd expect you to defend your educational system naturally. Are we teaching our students, perhaps, how not to think?
Well, I think you get out of college what you put into it. It's like anything in life. And part of the problem is that you come to college after high school. And high school is basically a prison. And you're let out of jail, and then you come to college, and most people come to college hoping that they're going to get a decent education, just like most people who go to medical school thinking that they're going to help out people.
When do you think you're going to get the good education? A lot of students think they're going to get it only after they've been put on suspension or after the first semester, right?
No.
Then they know? Don't give me that.
I think that what happens is you get out of jail, and then you get to college and you take some courses, and then you discover sex, drugs.
You got to wait until you get to college to discover sex?
No, but you can come out, okay? Because it's supposed to be, that's part
cool.
of college life. Now, I went to University of Michigan as an undergraduate, okay? And 2 days ago or 3 days ago, we won the NCAA, and people go along
How
and
many
say,
of those team members know how to read and write?
At
Michigan?
Really? Yeah.
Oh, really? You're sure?
Yeah.
You're sure?
I would say, though, that teaching... Yeah. No, they know how to read and write.
Michigan has pretty high standards.
Yeah. I think that there's a problem with math, okay? And I think that people have been taught that they've been stupid, and so they think that they don't know how to do a math problem when, in fact, it's a long time in the system, a long time in the making. And so what happens is people tend to tune out or discover other aspects of college, which are also very useful.
All right, but let me ask Phil. Phil, if you got someone And here's what I don't understand. Electives, I understand. That gives everyone a chance to go around. In a major course, in your major, why would you, if you were studying, let's say, English Lit, be required to take a math course?
That's one of the questions that I know is most troubling. I bet you some of these students in here would probably ask that same question. You have...
Why don't you answer it, Professor?
Well...
Oh, well, God. I hope you take some math.
And I'll try and explain why. You have to look at what is the desired outcome of education. Now, the Carnegie Foundation has run some interesting studies, and I'll compress it very quickly.
Here's the studies again.
In 1969, they asked students, what would you most like what would be the outcome that you most desire when you finish college? The number one was being able to get along with others. They were going to school to learn how to interact with others, to learn about others. In 1984, that same study was done, and what was number one was preparation for a career. It has changed considerably. Preparation for a career was last in 69. Getting along with others was near the bottom in 84, all right? So you have to take a look at it that way. If our purpose is to, what we have to do is look at what unites us as opposed to what separates us.
What's he talking about? Does anybody know what he's talking about?
I understand what he's talking about. Go back to school and study English, you will too.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
There are some real hard...
That's a first.
Don't lull yourself into a sense of false security here.
There are some real hard choices that you have to make when you're confronted with some life decisions, like when a doctor tells you that you need a test, and there's a certain statistical accuracy in that test, and that guy tells you that it's 98% a good test. And then you find out when you do the mathematics that 19 out of 20 people who test positive for that thing actually don't have the disease, whether it's cancer or AIDS or anything like that. And if you don't know rudimentary mathematics, you're going to be scared to death by that guy, and you're going to make a bad choice.
So you're trying to give a more rounded...
Everything has to be rounded. And I'll come at it slightly differently from what my colleague, who's making eminently good sense here, does. We have to look at what binds us together. We are free citizens in a free society. If you look at the core curriculum of most colleges, which I'm sure a lot of these students question every day, and I did too, it is geared towards making us more responsible in that respect. You go through there, I think you and I would agree, and the students would agree, that a good citizen should be able to read, should be able to speak, should be able to write. Those are requirements at most colleges.
We as good citizens should make sure that they know these things, or they can't really enjoy their freedom.
Or you'll have to trust us with that responsibility, which you seem to have some problem doing.
Well, I'm like they are. I don't think they want to trust anyone but themselves.
Right. That's very true, and I understand that kind of discontent. But when we look at becoming good citizens, we have to look at things like we have to know something about public issues that you deal with here. I think you would agree with that. We need to know something about historical and scientific truths, and we have to know something about, as he mentioned, the methods of inquiry that arrive at those. We have to know something about aesthetics, aesthetic illiteracy.
We should know something about, we've got so many people now teaching one-worldism. We should know something about geography.
Okay, well, all right, that's included in it, too.
You ask many... I'll tell you what, no, give me a microphone. I'm going to ask you something.
Let me stay with this.
Give me a microphone. Let's have a little test. Take this test at home. Forget that. Shall I give the test in the next segment? I'll give the test in the next segment. Watch this one.
You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucy.
Here they are. 45 top country hits of the past 20 years, compiled in honor of the Country Music Hall of Fame's 20th anniversary.
She's a good-hearted woman in love with a good time tonight.
Hello, darling. Nice to see you.
His collection includes the best love songs of country legends Charlie Pride, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Tammy Wynette, and more. You get the best of the new generation of country stars. George Strait, Reba McEntire, Alabama, and Randy Travis.
But on the other hand, there's a golden band. I'm gonna bop with you, baby, all night long.
The Country Music Hall of Fame's 20th anniversary collection. 45 of your all-time country hits on 3 LPs or 3 cassettes, $19.95. 2 compact discs, $24.95. Here's how to order.
To order U.S. and Canadian credit card customers, call 1-800-443-8300 or save COD charges and send just $19.95 for 3 albums or 3 cassettes or $24.95 for 2 compact discs, plus $4 shipping and handling to Country Music Hall of Fame, Box 237, Orchard Park, New York. Canadian orders add $5.
Call Great Lakes Reupholstery at 961-3310 for the best reupholstery prices in town. Just listen to this. Sofas from $279. That's right, $279. Chairs from $179. Kitchen and dining room chairs from $29.95. Great Lakes Reupholstery also has a special 10% discount for senior citizens. Call 961-3310. That's right, 961-3310 for the best reupholstery prices in town.
Well, Gerald, it's almost time for Highland Super Sale.
Let's see, the Johnsons are here.
The Willans?
Wait a second. Where are the Cripples?
Announcing Highland Superstore's Super Sale, a sale where prices on many items are marked down so low some people won't let anything stand in their way to get there.
Can't understand it. The Cripples missing this sale?
Frank? Do you hear something?
Nah. Gee, I wonder if they forgot.
Right now, the Sharp compact disc player with 3-beam laser pickup is just $127, and this Panasonic space-saving microwave oven with auto-weight defrost is just $97. So no matter how you get there, get there.
Gerald, we can't wait any longer. Mr. Crepple.
But where's Mrs. Crepple?
Highland Super Sale, Thursday through Saturday.
The microwaves are over here, see?
Get ready, Detroit. Bill Goodman's Gun and Knife Shows return to the Detroit Fairgrounds. Hundreds of shotguns, rifles, handguns, knives of all kinds, military items, everything for hunters and shooters. Got any guns to sell? Bring in with the show. Thousands of buyers will be there.
Gun and Knife Show. Call a buddy, bring a friend.
One of the major complaints that both the professors and myself and a lot of students make is that indeed we want a rounded education in school, but in this world which is now becoming somewhat truncated more and more, we don't know what's really going on geographically in the world. And if we're going to deal with, as the professor says, and as I try to point out, worldly issues, social issues, we should know where everything is. We have a new guest with us at home base, James Conklin. He's an art major. SUNY New Paltz. Let me ask you a question. Simple question. Where is Bolivia?
Bolivia? It's over in Russia somewhere.
Bolivia is in South America.
That's what I thought.
It is the largest exporter of tin in the world, right? Now, wait a second. It's the largest exporter of tin. Is tin important? Absolutely important. If we lose our dealings with Bolivia, we lose our tin, we no longer have the manufacturing capabilities.
Were you
now, I'm
serious?
not trying to
Were
put
you
you
serious,
down.
Jim? Were you
I know.
serious? No. He's pulling your chain.
I'm not
boy.
trying to put you down.
He was pulling your chain. He did.
Well, I'd like to believe that. Let's go in the audience and find out. We said we work on this side, all right? Here is a country that has been involved in the newspapers for many, many years. It's a state of a major nation, where major world power, where there have been some problems. I've given you a lot of hints. Where is the state outside of the United States of Georgia?
I don't know.
You see, it's in the southern part of the Soviet Union, where they've had some uprisings. Now, I don't do this as a put-down, all right? Because it doesn't mean you're less intelligent than any professor, myself, or anyone else. It only means we haven't made available to you the opportunity to have this knowledge. And I think Phil agrees with me.
I agree. I think geography is just shocking in the amount of ignorance about geography. But I think that's true of everybody. When you were 20 years old, you probably wouldn't have known that either.
No, when I was 14 years old, I knew it.
Well,
when I was 14, I knew it.
You've been an exception all your life.
No, I'm not an exception. They taught it when I was in school.
Morton,
They taught
a
it.
very famous former president of the University of Chicago said, society gets the school system it deserves. And part of the problem in what's going on in this country is that you have a school system that is catering to the needs of business and turning out automatons in a way that don't question some of the problems that exist. So when somebody says to somebody, go and make a bomb, they say, how much is in it for me? And they say, fine, they get it, they make the bomb, and they say, let somebody else decide. Let somebody else who's an expert in Georgia or Bolivia decide where they are, what we should do with them, as opposed to making sure that everybody understands in a general sense. Like I, unfortunately, never took an art class, but my sister is an art history person and is a curator of the Queens Museum, and she taught me a lot about art, and it's fascinating, okay? A lot of these things are fascinating.
Yeah,
and if you get good teachers, you can really get a lot out of college.
I should say our producers are a little upset because we've kind of lost the focus of the show, which is, are we wasting money in college, sending school to college? Well, that may be the focus of the show, but I think it's also important to show that indeed we are destined to waste money in college if we can't get the first step and the second step of our educational system in balance to give these colleges something to work with. Now, you can have the most beautiful automobile in the world. It doesn't make a damn bit of good to have that car if there's not an engine that's finely tuned to keep it running. You guys are the engine that are going to keep this country running. You should demand of us, demand of him, that you get the education you want, not what they want to give you. All right?
Absolutely.
I want to, you know,
part of the problem is that
before we were talking about...
Part of the problem is the universities are not really designed to teach students necessarily, at least at a place at Rutgers.
Absolutely right.
Okay,
absolutely right.
You've got a big business institution that is designed to make money, and some of the undergraduates are considered to be thorns in your side.
You strike me as a professor who would really give good value to that student. Frankly, this guy doesn't.
Oh, I disagree
because
with
the
that.
bottom line is that you need to understand the statistics that you were asking me for before.
Tell me what I need to
understand. How about 80% of all people who apply to Motorola Company fail the entry exam requirements of a 7th grade English and 5th grade math?
Speak to the 7th graders and the 5th graders.
About the primary and secondary system.
44% of credentials.
How many were college graduates? She asked a good question. She asked a good question. How many were college graduates? You want to talk about high school? Do a show on high school and invite him back.
How many are college graduates,
sir? But I said nothing.
How many are college graduates, sir?
I don't have that.
He doesn't have that written down.
44%. And you know why that is, sir? Do you know why that is? Because when you take irrelevant college courses like the anthropology.
Now read it right. Read it right. No, look again. You're forgetting something. Look again. Look again.
Are you
look
having
again.
a problem?
You need your
Are
script
you having
in
a
front of you
problem,
like
sir?
you do on your radio show. Go ahead.
The socio-psychological aspects of clothing, another great college course. I actually went into a college classroom one day.
Where did you go to school?
I went to a classroom one day.
What college
Have
did you
the courtesy to listen to me, all right?
What college
I
did
went
you
to a
attend?
classroom one day. The first day of the class, and the professor said, who wants an A?
What college did you attend?
And I raised my hand.
What college
and you know
did
what
you
I
attend?
got? I got an A.
Oh,
everybody wants an
what
A.
college did you attend?
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Are you embarrassed? What college did you attend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jersey City State College.
Jersey City State College. The Harvard of New Jersey, right here.
Well, let's not put down New Jersey. Again,
let me tell you something. Let me tell you. I want to pick up on what my colleague over here said. Mort, may I ask you a question? May I ask a question of the audience? Let me ask you this question because I think you raised a very, very good point. How many of you, there's a lot of students in here tonight, how many of you in here, if you could write out a check right now for what is left of your college education, if you were assured a job, how many of you would write that check out? and stop. And just stop. I mean, no more education, no more going to classes. You get your college degree as soon as you write out the check. How many of you would do that? Okay. That's interesting.
So you're assuming that you've got all the answers.
That's interesting, but I think if apathy lives on our college campuses, you've got to wait till you hear from the students in our audience, all right? They'll speak.
If you live in the tri-state area and would like to be a part of Mort's studio audience, write to Morton Downey Tickets, 9 Broadcast Plaza, Secaucus, New Jersey, zip code 07094. And please include your phone number.
Hi, this is Joe. Get ready for one of the most exciting things you'll ever see on television. It's a Janitrol. Janitrol high-energy, fuel-efficient heating and air conditioning. Janitrol for performance and quality. Janitrol heating and air conditioning will keep you warm or cool and cozy all year long and save you money. Dollar for dollar, natural gas holds a 3-to-1 price advantage over electricity. Check it out at Joe's Cooling and Heating. Call me at 271-1313.
Woman admits love affair with Bigfoot.
He's an animal.
Lately, the topics of afternoon talk shows haven't exactly been kid stuff. But now, you can turn your afternoons into laughternoons on TV2. Starting at 4 o'clock with Family Feud, followed at 4:30 by Night Court. So if topics like Marine Sergeants in drag isn't your idea of family viewing, let the laughter do the talking with Family Feud and Night Court starting at 4 weekday laughternoons on TV2.
So, my car's ready to be picked up, huh?
Yes, sir.
Good as new, huh?
Yes, sir. Good as new.
Can't tell where I got hit, huh?
No, sir.
Well, it was right over here. It was, well, it was on the other side. That's where it was. It was, right. It's good as new, huh?
Yes, sir. With a lifetime warranty. Colex, collision experts. Sterling Heights and Warren. We fix it right the first time.
Who gives you $1,000 worth of furniture for just $500?
Robinson Furniture.
Who gives you $500 worth of furniture for just $250?
Robinson Furniture.
That's right. Only Uncle Robinson dares to give you name-brand furniture for free. And during his huge clearance sale, choose from beautiful living rooms, gorgeous bedrooms, elegant dining rooms, and get free delivery and free setup at Robinson Furniture, 8 Mile into Quinter, and Plymouth Road, 1 block west of Telegraph.
Robinson Furniture. Yeah.
Let me go to James Conklin for just a minute. James, around here any place?
All right. I'll go to college. I don't expect to go in buy a degree, you know. I'm not there to buy a degree, buy a skill that's going to pull me out in the workplace. I'm there to learn. It's a learning institution. I'm trying to learn as much as possible. You know, I'm immersed in the college experience. You know, it's ridiculous to sit there and quote statistics.
In other words, you can learn a lot more in college. In the university, sometimes you can learn as much in the environs as you can in the classroom.
Yeah, definitely.
Through the getting together of people. Go ahead.
I mean, what are you doing outside the classroom? What are you doing outside the classroom? We know you're going to classes, and that's great. What are you doing outside the classroom?
You want specifics? You want my day? I don't understand. What do you mean,
No,
what do
I want to know, are
outside
you a member of any clubs, organizations?
Yeah, I'm a member of many organizations.
I beg your pardon?
I'm a member of many organizations.
What year are you in?
I'm a senior.
Okay, can you tell me the name of the person in charge of placing you in a job at the college?
Mr. Bill Sample.
Okay. Have you gone to see him a few times?
Excuse me?
Have you had meetings with him?
No, it's not my intention to be placed in a job when I'm done with college. I'm going on after college to another school in California.
Okay, so you're a professional student. Can we talk to someone who wants...
No, excuse me. I'm not a professional student.
Let me ask you a
It's not
question.
necessarily
Wait a
the
second.
fact that
Now, instantly you indict him as a professional student. How old are you?
No, I didn't
I'm
mean that in a
23.
negative
23.
way.
He's not professional yet, all right?
I'm not professional.
Let me
I don't
ask you
get
a
paid
question.
for it yet.
What would you like to do with your career when you finish your education?
I'd like to record and produce artwork that would be commercially viable and make a lot of money. I don't know.
And
I'm not looking to make a lot of money. I want to learn. That's why I'm in
Do you feel,
school.
therefore, that to do that best you need to further your education?
I found that college is a medium for me to find and get information. You know what I mean? It's opened up a lot of things for me.
Is
Some
it a
people find
medium
it
that
other
has
ways.
taught you how to find information?
Yeah.
then indeed you've learned something.
Have you had an internship?
All right. Let me go over here. Let me go over here to this gentleman.
I'm just addressing the gentleman who was talking about the fact that he doesn't want co-ed dorms and the fact that he doesn't want alcohol on campus. We are adults, all right? Enough rights of 18 to 21-year-olds have already been taken away. You've taken away our right to drink. Don't take away our right to choose and think. We won't let you.
Right. They learned that at college.
Let me tell you something. Look, let me tell you something, son, and I respect you, all right? You're there for an education. Your parents want to be proud of you. I want to be proud of you. This is the greatest country in the world. And if that's all that's on your stupid mind is staying in bed all night long, okay? You be quiet. Just be quiet.
That was on your mind. You brought that up to us. You brought it up. We don't promote that kind of activity.
You said sitting right there. Wait a minute. You said. Don't be so rude. All right? Have some respect for me. Don't be so rude, all right? What they ought to have in the colleges is a class where you learn how to respect people, okay? You're the one that sat there and said to me, we'll make our own rules. Who are you to make the rules?
No, we don't follow. No.
I don't know what they're teaching you in school.
They're teaching
but
me
for Christ's sake, stand up for the country.
They're teaching me to be responsible.
Get up, Perry. You make me sick to talk. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do? Your father and mother are working hard to put you through school. And all you care about... what if you get lost? Show some respect.
Listen.
Thank you.
Look, I'm trying to tell you something. I'm old enough to be your grandfather. So don't be so smart, all right? Just show some respect.
I will show respect.
They ought to have enough...
You hear my opinion.
I heard it. But I don't approve of you in bed all night, all right? Get into the book.
I don't want you in my bed for it.
Never mind the booze. Get into the book.
You don't know what we do.
Van Dykes. Van Dykes, Northland, Eastland.
Gotta get a ceiling.
Mister, you gotta get a ceiling.
So if you're like the millions of people who don't get a good night's rest, come to Mattress Warehouse and save up to 52% on every Sealy, including Posturepedic. Just the sale for your tired body. Today at Mattress Warehouse. Call 277-7270 for the location nearest you.
Announcing the incredible eyeglass factory guarantee. 2 pair of eyeglasses, just $59.95. That's right, 2 pair for $59.95, plus a 2-year guarantee. Bust them, break them, we replace them at the eyeglass factory. It's incredible. This week, get 2 pairs of daily wear contact lenses at the eyeglass factory for just $59.95, plus a pair of prescription eyeglasses free. 2 pairs of contacts and a pair of eyeglasses, just $59.95 at the eyeglass factory. Incredible. It's another big eyeglass factory grand opening. Call for the location nearest you.
You wanted to tell me something?
Yes. No, you wouldn't believe it anyway. Well, I went to my dentist today and...
And?
No, it's too crazy.
Oh, come on.
Well, I went to my dentist today and it didn't hurt. It's true, no pain.
No pain?
Not a twin, zip, zero. Well, my dentist, I feel good.
Really?
Well, I ought to know. I went to my dentist today.
And you're still smiling.
For a no-pain dentist, call Dr. Helmuth at 552-5121.
One at a time.
First of all, Captain, we have activities. We go to classes. We play sports. Nobody stays in bed 24 hours. Why get all dressed up when you're going to be outside playing, going to classes, doing various activities?
Let me say
this is not corporate America. This is college.
Let me answer you. Let me answer you. I want to answer you. I need you, I need you, I need you, and I need you to get an education to keep this great country together. I don't know what they're teaching you up there.
You're getting an education.
Just to learn what you want us to learn.
I want you to listen, young lady. Hear me out for a second.
We can
I want you to study books.
I will study books. Listen.
How do you want us to be harnessed?
Put the tie on.
You look good.
How does you want us to be harnessed all through school?
I want to be proud of you. I want to be proud of you. Your parents are depending on you. Please believe me when I tell you.
When we graduate, we put on a tie.
When you graduate, I'll be at your graduation.
I have on a tie now.
That's it, and I'm proud of
I have on
you.
a tie
I'm
now.
proud of you.
But you can have on a tie and
Oh,
be-
well, quack.
Let me talk.
You talk.
I run a hall of 200 students.
Yes, ma'am.
I see them when they come in at the beginning of the year as freshmen. I see them when they leave. They are different people. I'm a resident director. I have a staff of We program. Listen to me. We program.
Listen to you.
All right, we program. We have rules. There are no kegs allowed. I don't know where the hell you've been.
Oh, I've been around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much
Yeah.
time,
New balls,
how much
buddy.
time have you spent in the halls? Have you come in and seen the time management programs? Have you seen the suicide programs? Have you seen the programs on
Let
alcohol?
me answer that.
Have you seen
Let
the
me
programming that goes
Be fair
in the
to
hall?
me. Be
All
fair
right,
to
I'll
me.
be fair to you.
I've taught in Boston College, Northeastern, Boston University, University of Mass, in political science. So don't tell me I was never in the colleges.
That's in the classroom. Have
That's
you
right.
been into where the students live? Have you been in the residence halls to see how much goes on in there?
No.
To see that there is a staff? Listen to me. To
I'm
see that
listening.
there
Go
is
ahead.
a staff there to develop the
Okay, well,
students,
it's
to
getting
give them
boring.
what they
Let's
need.
go over here.
It is boring.
Let's go over here. Get over here. You had a point. You had a point.
Mort, I agree with you before when you said about free thought, okay? I was a student of Professor English's. I agree with this gentleman, too. He should have some respect, okay? But at the same time, the students have thoughts, okay?
Yeah.
They should
And
be
we
able to
should have
express them.
respect for the students.
Exactly.
We can't, as so-called adults,
Right.
demand respect from them without giving some of our own.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly, Mort. It's
I
just a
can
matter of-
send him if I'm on a draft board overseas to die. Why the hell can't he have a drink?
Right. And why can't he say anything about it? He should
He
be able
can.
to say something
He's not
about
saying he can't say anything about it.
it. Right. Well, it seems like he's demanding respect, and that's wrong. I mean, he doesn't have to demand respect. He just
No.
don't have to give him respect.
Your actions
Your actions, right. They
demand the
should be-
respect.
Right. They should be
Nothing else.
professional.
You're polite. I mean, I've been accused of blowing my stack a few times. I know I don't get respect for that, but, you know.
It's neat, it's great, it's a whale of a sale. It's super, it's super, it's super sale.
RJ Leeds has a super sale going on now. For only $8.98, you get everything you see. Sofa, love seat, and 3 tables. It's super savings on this roomy sofa, a comfy love seat, and not 2, but 3 tables. Only $8.98 for this entire super room grouping. It's a super sale at RJ Leeds, where you couldn't do better if you were family.
It's neat, it's great, it's a whale of a sale. It's super, it's super, it's super sale.
Real good friends, Dawn and Night Show. Call a buddy, bring a friend.
Get ready, Detroit. Bill Goodman's Gun and Knife Shows return to the Detroit Fairgrounds. Hundreds of shotguns, rifles, handguns, knives of all kinds, military items, everything for hunters and shooters. Got any guns to sell? Bring in with the show. Thousands of buyers will be there.
Dawn and Night Show. Call a buddy, bring a friend.